let's start. Today, I'd like to introduce Chabana to you. The term Chabana is directly borrowed from Japanese. It's also called cha no hana or chashitsu no hana in Japanese. It means the ikebana of tea ceremony. Chabana is a special form of ikebana. I don't know if you are familiar with ikebana or not. To make things more understandable, let's spend a little time trying to make a brief introduction on ikebana. The earliest written record of ikebana is a scroll called Kao Ilai no Kadensho, meaning a teaching book for flowers since the Flower King. It has both drawings and descriptions of flower works inside. Like Chabana, ikebana is also borrowed from Japanese. The word ikebana has two meanings. It could mean the action of arranging flowers to make them look alive. It could also mean the Japanese style of flower artworks. There are two major branches of styles developed from the original ikebana. One of them taking more serious searching the orders and the meanings behind the nature and plant lives, and its projection in human lives. Later on, this branch developed more and more detailed and specific rules and forms, and become the various form of modern ikebana schools. It is also called the ikebana of Kado. Another branch of ikebana takes more attention on expressing of nature itself, using only the simplest form, discarding any defined rules. This branch became the ancestor of Chabana. The tea drinking culture was first brought to Japan by a monk named Eisai during the Kamakura period. When tea culture first spread to Japan, both nobilities and monks adopted it. For those in power, tea ceremonies quickly became the showing off for fortune and power, with expensive and rare tea poppers, delicious food, and decorations. The tea ceremonies among the upper layer become more and more of a dinner party or a feast. Another tea ceremony called wabicha developed around the monks. They built the tea house, look narrow and shabby, use local-made rustic tea poppers and simple decorations. The most famous tea master of this style is Senno Rikyu. He is also the founder of modern Japanese tea ceremony. His descendants created Omote Senke, Ura Senke, and Mushakuji Senke, which are the three major modern Japanese tea ceremony schools. In the 7 rules for tea ceremony, Senno Rikyu has defined the basic principles for hosting tea ceremonies and describing tea rooms. The basic principle for Chabana is also mentioned in these rules. He wrote, Chabana should seem that it is still blooming in the field. The basic principle of decorating tea room is simplicity. Simple decorations help the guests to escape from their mundane anxieties to get close to nature and to their actual selves, to get more space for imagining and to put them to the best realization. There is a famous story for this principle from between Sendo Rikyu and Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the supreme minister of Japan at the time. The legend has it that there was a beautiful cluster of morning glory in Rikyu's backyard. Hideyoshi told Rikyu that he could like to visit Rikyu's house to see it. On the appointed day, when Hideyoshi arrived, he found that all the morning glories was cut off. Hideyoshi was very surprised and angry. Then he rushed into the tea room and demanded the explanation for Rikyu. The tea room was specially cleaned up and prepared to welcome Hideyoshi. In this room, there was just one blooming flower, morning glory decorated on the wall. Rikyu explained that in order for Hideyoshi to appreciate the full beauty of this morning glory, he deliberately cut off all the morning glories outside the door. According to the artistic principle of tea ceremony, one blooming flower is more beautiful than 100 flowers blooming together. This is a photo taken at a tea room. How the guests and the host act during the tea ceremony is well defined. When a guest enters the tea room, first the guest approaches the tokonoma. Tokonoma is a recessed space in a Japanese-style reception room. The guest will salute and start appreciating the kakejiku. Kakejiku means a hanging scroll. It is the important decoration of the tea room, so it is direct in the center of the wall. After appreciating the hanging scroll, the guest turns on the chabana. Chabana will could be placed in the middle or on side in the tokonoma, depending on what kind of the scroll is hanging on the wall. If the scroll extends from down to top down, chabana will be placed aside on the tatami or hanging on the pillar. If the hanging scroll extends from side to side, usually chabana is placed under the scroll right in the middle. Chabana is quite often be described on usuida. Usuida is a thin board decorated in lacquer coating. Whether to use the usuida depends on what kind of the vase to use. When a powder or bronze vase is used, usuida is used. When a bamboo vase is used, usuida is not appropriate. After appreciating the chabana, the guest turns back to the scroll and salutes again. Then the guest stands up, moves to the place where the host later prepares tea and start appreciating tea utensils. The host chooses different utensils according to the season and the theme of the ceremony. For example, the host will use a heart on the ground during winter because it is under the tatami and closer to the guests, so it could make the guests feel warmer. When hosting a ceremony on summer, the guests choose a tea stove instead because it is farther away from the guests. Less heat is generated by the stove, and it could make the guests feel more comfortable. After finishing after finishing appreciating the utensils, the guest will walk back to his or her seat. When all the guests enter their seats, the host enters the room, checking with the guests and starts serving conference tea and kaiseki meal. During this whole process, Chabana is not the focus for any of the parks, but it is the only living thing decorated in the tea room, making the guests feel the nature. Although there are many different schools of tea ceremony, there is no school for Chabana. Because Chabana is completely a personal creation of the host. Traditional Chabana only use flowers from white grassland or from mountains and hills. Finally, I'd like to introduce the technique of Chabana. It is called nageile, or directly translated as throwing in. Usually, a vase with small mouth will be used. Observe and choose the best expression of the flower and put it direct inside the vase, using the neck of the vase to support the flower. In case of using a wide mouth vase, extra branches could be inserted into the vase to help to fix the flower. My talk is going to end here. I hope through my introduction, you could have some initial tests for Chabana and the tea ceremony. I also recommend you could try to start using some of Chabana techniques and ideas to direct your daily life. Thank you very much for listening today.